Okay, I hope you guys can hear me, and I hope it doesn't sound crazy anymore. So just let me know. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me, and I hope it doesn't sound crazy anymore. Um, so just let me know. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me, and I hope it doesn't sound crazy anymore. Because I didn't change anything. So just let me know. 1 second. Oh, I think I found the problem. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me, and I hope it doesn't sound. That fixed it. Does it sound better now? It's like all of my settings like reset it. Like everything I had saved didn't work. So please let me know if this sounds better. Oh, what the heck? It's like all of my settings like reset it. Like everything I had saved didn't work. So please let me know if this sounds better. Sorry, I'm just like playing. Oh, what the heck? It's like all of my settings reset it. Okay, I think the echo thing was me trying to play back myself to like listen to see if it's working. I know the quality of audio is not as good as before, so I do apologize for that. I really have no idea what is happening right now. Um, so let's see if we can do this like is there a way to do that? Close enough. We're kind of off in the background. What, can you clarify what you mean by that? Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. It's the same mic I use, the same settings from the last stream, so my computer just seems to hate me today. So I really have no idea like what is actually going on. Um, so sorry if it's not the best quality. It left the edit with me. I have no idea what happened. But it seems also for classically cool prod, it seems to be working for you. I'm sorry if it's really not the best quality, if it sounds like crackly, how like I was hearing it. I really have no idea like what is going on. So I will try again next week and try to like really figure this out because it was working fine for me before. So I have no idea what is actually going on. But anyway, that's besides the point. I hope you guys can actually hear me. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, Ren. Hi, Ren. So at least two of you guys can hear me. Anybody else having issues, or are we okay to start? Again, I'm going to apologize ahead of time if it's not the best sounding quality. I'll figure it out for next time. It worked in all my test runs, but so, of course, like right as I go live, it doesn't work how I want it to. So, anyway. Okay, well, thank you everybody for your patience, and sorry for jumping over to a new stream. I was like, I'm just gonna give up on that one. Let's just start a new one. I'll delete that old one later. But anyway, hi guys. So officially we can start the TV talk this week because this is my first one, which is really exciting since a lot of you guys we had so much fun that last week, or oh my gosh, a couple weeks now. Talking, it was supposed to be like an edit with me thing, and then we ended up spending almost like 2 hours talking about all things MacGyver and Chicago Fire and all the things happening in the TV world, which is crazy. And then we really got fed this week, so I think I picked a great week to start this series. So I know I've got some people in here that are here for Bretsy, which we did have a lot happen, but I'm sorry MacGyver takes the cake this week because for those who have watched it, a lot happened. I'm still not emotionally okay because spoilers. I mean, let's be real. Let me just give my disclaimer now. There's going to be spoilers for both the Chicago Fire and MacGyver episodes this week because that's what this is. It's basically a spoiler talk. So we're going to get out our feelings and get ready for next week, or next week for MacGyver, 2 weeks for Chicago Fire. So I'm going to say a few things about I'm gonna start, or I'll say a few of my high level thoughts about MacGyver this week, and then if you guys have questions or your thoughts, please message them below. We can start talking about it. First of all, we knew it was coming with Jack's death, but it still hurt just as much. I'm not okay. I'm still very upset. It sucks. Like, he's been gone for almost 2 seasons now, and you'd think I'd be, okay, like be able to like, okay, I get it. Like you don't, he's moved on, and Desi's been here long enough to take over, but it still hurt because nothing. It's like I struggle because I didn't mind the idea of Desi coming in to replace Jack because Jack is he's his own character, and I guess I don't say replace, I mean just take over his position because nobody will ever replace Jack, but I think where the writers screwed up, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is when they got Mac and Desi together almost immediately. I wouldn't be as against Mac Desi if they had the time to build a solid foundation, because there's nothing to grasp onto, there's nothing to connect to with the two of them. It just feels very sexually driven, and like it's all attraction based versus like an emotional connection, which it's fine if you're into that. That's fine. For shipping, that's not what I'm all about. That's why I love Mac Riley, because they're based on complete strangers to friends. So I'd say pretty much best friends, and and then all the strong connection. So of course I'm gonna ship them, even though we're 5 seasons in and nothing has happened yet. But that's okay. And so that Jack's death is still hurts, but I understand why, because you don't want to keep that lingering, and like I'm sure the actor is just never coming back. The issue I have with, before I get into Mac Riley goodness, the issue I have with this season is the writers are trying so hard. Again, this is my opinion. The writers are trying so hard to make Desi likable and relatable, but to me, it honestly feels like it's just too late. It's too late. And I want to like Desi, I really do, but I think the way they're going about it and making the first 4 episodes basically all Desi-centric, and and this is my worst fear is happening with her. The way they're doing it is making me not like her even more. Because they're pushing her so far, at us, and so much of it. And so I'm struggling, and I can't get why they're still together. I just can't. I don't understand. It's like, are they because it's familiar? That's my guess. But anyway, it's one of those things I just don't understand. I'm still trying to, just too much Desi, and I hope that we can finally get back. It sounds like next episode, with the quarantine episode, looks like it's going to be about the trio, so Mac, Riley, and Bozer, as it should be. So I'm hoping we can get through these last of the weird, except last night, but the last of the weird episodes that were filmed last season, because it doesn't feel right. I understand that they can't scrap it due to budget reasons, but it doesn't work. The season has not worked, in my opinion, so far. Last night's episode was the first episode since 4/12 that felt like MacGyver, because last season it was I enjoyed the Codex story, but it was not my favorite season. I think 1 and 2 will always be my favorite seasons. And so last night's episode felt like that, and so I'm okay, I have a little more hope about what's going to happen with the show. Okay. And then the last thing, of course, the Mac Riley stuff, it was amazing. It was amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm just glad that Jim, the writer, which he's been active on Twitter with us and responding to me, which was so cool, but he did justice to, and really appreciated and understood that, Mac and Riley are the 2 people in Jack's life that mean the most to him, and, and they played tribute and honored that instead of just being it's about Desi and Bozer, because it's not. Because, I'm sure they have their reasons. Desi's underwhelming story about how her and Jack are connected, it was okay, I understand. I'm not discounting their feelings at all. But I'm glad that the writers and, they've paid the appropriate amount of time on Mac and Riley due to this, because it's just, anyway. So I'm glad that those two finally got to share some screen time that wasn't dating. And that last scene of them in the GTO driving off will probably be one of my favorite Mac Riley moments of all time. But anyway, so I have a lot of emotions. I'm going to start looking at the chat and see what you guys have to say. Classically Cool says, this is definitely a great week to start talking about MacGyver. Yeah, absolutely. My emotions are still not okay after this episode. I'm not okay. And I rewatched the episode this morning just to get it fresh in my mind after yesterday, and I'm still not okay with it. Mac Riley Edit said, Jack will be missed, but he won't be forgotten. Absolutely. I think without having George East, I think that's his name, come back to the show, I think the way they did it was the best way to do it, because yes, he died in action, but you can tell like his last moments were sacrificing himself for others, which we know Jack would have done, and trying, left what he could to help bring down the villain. So I think he went out in the best Jack way possible, which, if he had to go, I think this is a great way to do it. Classical Cool says, he was done for almost 3.5 years in the time jump of the show, but I honestly wish could have just stayed with the written out instead of being killed off, but it was done really well. Yeah, so I get that. I think it's just, he just had to leave, but it's just, it sucks. I just think, like, without having him able to come back, I think, in my opinion, it was probably one of the best ways to do it, so I really do applaud Jim and the writers for that. The one thing that I didn't like about the episode, this is my opinion, like the middle of it, where it was like the nitty gritty of this case and what was going on, I got bored. I actually got bored. I think it was like because the beginning of the episode was so emotional and so emotionally heavy, and by the time we got to like the nitty gritty of tracking down, I already forget the villain's name, but like tracking her down and figuring out the mystery, I was bored. Like after Bozer got shot, and then I was like, okay, I'm just waiting. And then it picked it back up at the end. It was just like I kind of got a little bored in the middle, but not to the extent that I was like I'm hating it for it. Mac Riley Edit said too much Desi this season. She's taking up too much screen time. Yeah, I honestly think it has to do with the writers really trying to kind of fix the mistakes they've made in regards to her development, because they kind of put her this, like, to me, Desi is always going to be known as Mac's girlfriend. That's it. I don't know anything about her, and I think the writers finally realized that, because I really do think they listen to us, because I know we're active on Twitter, and I do think they take what we say into consideration, and I don't want to just not like Desi, but I don't, because how do I connect to someone where all I know is she's an adrenaline junkie, she's been with Mac, and that's all I know about her, and she's a great fighter. That's all I know. Like, so I don't know. So I just go back and forth. And so I think the writers realized they kind of messed up with that, and they started to, really try to fix Desi's image. But I think they started off on a really bad foot. The reason I say that is the first episode having basically Mac and Riley apologize to Desi for Codex, which I'm like, what? That makes absolutely no sense. I still can't wrap my head around it. And like, Desi, you're the one who didn't trust. I said, thank goodness we had the scene in that episode where Riley called Desi out, and she's like, yeah, why did you go? Or Desi was like to Riley, why did you go with him? And Riley's like, because I trust him. Why don't you? Like, I think that's what we're all saying. Like, you're supposed to be his girlfriend. Why didn't you do it? And so I think that just goes back to the overarching point where I'm like, I just don't get why they're together still. I really don't understand. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things I don't get why they're together. I honestly think it goes to the point where, Max said it's like when they're not in a crisis, they don't work. And I think in the times that they're in, and Max dealing with all of the deaths and with his family and just Codex and all of that craziness, he just wanted something familiar. Because I do not think that Mac and Desi have like a strong connection. I think they're just comfortable with each other, which is not what you want in a relationship, especially when you spend your days in the line of, fighting, and Desi isn't that stable, but I think that's what he's looking for. Not excusing Mac Desi, but I'm if I had to guess why the writers are doing it, that's why, and I'm hoping that'll come to the forefront later. That it's like, do you want to be with someone who you're comfortable with, or someone that you truly love? Because there's a difference. Let's see. Oh, Classically Cool says, I like Desi's family episode, but I feel you on the whole Mac and Desi relationship. I'm just never going to be on board with them as a couple. Yeah, I actually, this sounds bad. I was still pissed about the baiting. I haven't even watched that episode yet. I will eventually. I'm just so sick of Desi. I know that sounds so mean, and I'm going to have hate that I'm racist or that I'm, Gosh, no, I don't like her character. I'm allowed to not like a character, and I think the Mac Desi just don't understand that. I'm like, you can ship your ship. I'm not telling you you can't, but don't judge me for shipping mine and for not liking your favorite character. There's no emotional depth to her. What am I supposed to grasp onto? That's my little, my preaching moment. And then last night's episode was definitely more of MacGyver that I first loved from the beginning. Yep, I think a lot of people, based on the Twitter reactions, felt the same. It's like it finally felt. You can tell because like Jim, was there, but in the beginning. So it just feels the same, and I'm just sad we don't have that anymore. AO says, I'm afraid this is only going to be the good episode, and now we're going back to toxic fantasy. This is probably the naiveness of the word in me that I still have a little hope. I know that that was Jen's last episode, but I'm sure the writers just can't disregard this. Such a large portion of the fandom ships them, and the thing is, I'm going back and forth. That's why I'm a little like tongue tied right now, because MacGyver writers, I know they do retweet and like some Mac Desi stuff, but let's be real, 2/3 of it is always Mac Riley. And I know they baited us before, but I guess I still have hope, because then again I think about, I wasn't a Belark, like Bellamy and Clark from the 100. I'm not a shipper of them. Like I don't not like them. It wasn't my ship, and that's one of those like rare occasions where the writers really did just ignore what the fandom wanted and was like, nah, never mind. And I'm like, MacGyver better not be doing that, especially when I would say 85 to 90% of the people watching the show either really ship Mac Riley or like don't mind the idea of them being together, versus like the 5% that doesn't care and the other 5% that ship Mac Desi. If I had to guess, that's my opinion, but I'm like, do the writers? I'm sure they want their show to continue, like we do too. But if they keep pissing off like this large portion of their fandom, I don't know what's going to happen. The fact Mac and Riley were there for each other last night, and that she is the only one he sort of started opening up to at the end. Yeah. Oh, that's something I forgot to mention. So I don't know if anybody else noticed the weird looks Desi kept giving Mac. Like, I think there was like 2 times before, like once when they were trying to find that safe in the wall, and there was one earlier or something, and maybe at the funeral or somewhere where like Desi was giving him these like, I kind of care about you, like why won't you talk to me looks, and then Mac's just like not even acknowledging it, and then Desi in the plane tries to grab his hand and like make some loving thing. Mac just looks kind of like, yeah, can you see I'm trying to go to Riley? Like, excuse me. It was just a really weird thing, and I'm like, are the writers still trying to show that they're loving to each other? Because if that's what they're trying to do, it feels very forced, and I don't like it. I was like, gosh, I really wish they didn't get Mac and Desi together so quickly. It feels wrong. It doesn't feel right. I just finished this episode this morning too, and it hurts, but they definitely did character justice to the ending they picked. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the ending of that episode was one of the best endings of MacGyver ever. I think it was a great way to like wrap up the show. Oh, Kovac, thank you. I kept wanting to say Codex. I'm like, that's not right. Kovac was the villain. Thank you. Like, oh my god, my brain. Mac was trying to be strong for Riley and the others, but especially Riley, so she wouldn't hurt even more. He was there for her like she was there for him in season 4. They will always have each other. Yeah, I think something I tweeted out that Jim actually liked, which cracked me up. I was like, oh no, they better not um make Mac and Desi bond over Jack's death. I was like, no, 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 don't you dare do that, or I'm gonna be so pissed. Like, no, 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 no. I could see them doing that. Be like, okay, see now, Mac Desi has that emotional connection. I'm like, no, we're way past that. I'm sorry, you will never convince me that it isn't all just sexually and driven, and it's all about comfort because of someone that you're just used to. Sorry, that's just how I feel. And I've watched a lot of shows, and I feel like it's pretty obvious. It's just a toxic relationship. And yes, Max Desi is toxic, in my opinion. The way they talk to each other does bring up some bad feelings for me, personally, due to some family issues about how, like full transparency, when my grandma on my mom's side was a little bit emotionally abusive to my mom's side, and it trickled down to me because I reminded my grandma of like my dad's side, which she just always was jealous of and stuff. And so the way that Desi like talks to Mac, it really upsets me. And it's not even about a ship thing. It's just I don't like how she speaks to him. Like that's supposed to be out of love. No, thank you. Sorry, I'll get off the emotional roller coaster there. Completely agree with you on the take on Mac and Desi. The comfortability should not outweigh the fact that you should love who you are with, not just being with them because they're comfortable. I really do think that's what it's going to be, and I think, guys, I really do think Mac Desi, if I can talk, is going to be over officially by the end of this season. I really don't know how they're going to, I really don't know how they're going to continue that. There's no foundation. It feels weird. Mac himself has said it's not working. Whenever it's chaotic, we kind of work, but when it's just the two of us, we can't even just sit down. And it goes back to that scene where Riley gets dumped and she comes to Mac's place and says, I need somewhere to go, but she brings food because she knows that he's hungry and she knows him. And those two are fine sitting on a couch all day watching, a Die Hard marathon. And you could never catch Desi doing that. Or she'd try to force herself and it'd be weird. So I just feel like, again, back to that comment about like in the line of work that they do, when you're home, you would think one of you is people you care about, relaxing and doing things that you both enjoy. I feel like Desi would do it out of obligation, where Riley would actually just do it because it's what she wants to do too. And there's a difference, and it's clear to see when you watch the show. I don't think Mac is comfortable around Desi, yet he's still comfortable with Riley. They are truly best friends, and it shows. Absolutely. I said I will for sure be pretty heartbroken if Mac and Riley never get together, but you will never tell me that they're not best friends. So, yes, I noticed the looks too, especially the one that at the wake when she was talking to Gozer about him bottling up his emotions. Like, yeah, Desi, you do that. You don't talk about yourself. You did the one time with that weird soup scene that felt very forced, or, kind of with that scene last night where she was talking about, her and Jack's story, but it felt weird. Like it was just her trying to be emotional about it, but no. Where are we? Okay, yes, I noticed the look, especially the one that I just read. Yes, I noticed, and Desi trying to make him open up once again. He didn't want to talk to her. Instead, he went to Riley. Yeah, because it goes back to that point again. It's like they don't have there's no foundation. There's no friendship foundation, which I think is extremely important in any relationship. Matt going to Riley instead of Desi says so much. Yeah, every time there's an emotional issue, I think it speaks to 412 again. Who was by his side during all of this? Who trusted him unconditionally? Riley did. And I hate that the writers just discounted that and like, yeah, Riley saying to Desi, I'm sorry, I should have included him. Like, no, No, Desi said you're compromised, that we can't trust you to Mac. I wouldn't have trusted her either. So that's one thing I think was a big hit on Riley's character, that they made her apologize and made me really dislike Desi. Like, why are you getting the apologies? You should be the one apologizing. So I still don't understand that. Yeah, I guess I noticed Desi tried to make him open up again. Once again, he didn't want to talk to her. Then he went to Riley. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that even the people that don't ship Mac Riley or are not into ships do not like the Mac Desi relationship, because they're not only toxic, but they take too much screen time with their drama. So many fans are annoyed. Yeah, someone said one day, they're like, this show, why does it feel like a soap opera? I'm like, that's exactly what it feels like. I don't come to this kind of show. I have my drama shows for a reason, but this is not the show I come to for wanting, all this relationship drama. No, 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 no. Like, a great example of a show that does a relationship great without being the sole purpose of the show is, like, I think of like the NCIS shows, with Tony and Ziva, or like NCIS LA with like Kenzie and Deeks, where that is an action-based show, but there's a little bit of romance on the side, and it's well written. I'm like, that's what I want for Mac and Riley. I don't need them to be the center of attention all the time, but I need them to stop dancing around each other and just do it. Like, just get together. There's a way to do it. And stop the soap opera and to try to make us, like Desi. I think that ship has sailed. I really do. I think maybe we could save Desi's character if her and Max broke up and they were apart for a long time, and then we had slivers of small development for Desi across an entire season, like each episode. Not saying it's, oh my gosh, pop up coming up. Not saying that Desi should be the center of every episode, because, oh gosh, no. But I mean, like, maybe there's a little nugget in every single episode that kind of hints to her past and, like, who she is as a person outside of Max, because I will never associate Desi with anything else than Max, and that's unfortunate. It's sad. Yeah, a Mac Desi breakup must be coming soon. Please, if we have to sit, because I'm worried that, I mean, I know a lot of the reports are saying that we're pretty sure to get a season 6, but what if something happens? Like, what if there's budget cuts? What if we end this series without ever even exploring Mac Riley? I'm going to be so upset. And, so I'm like, they need to break up. It's been, almost 2 full seasons with them? I'm over it. All right, let's try to get, is there any, high level things you want to talk about MacGyver? Because I kind of want to shift to Chicago Fire for a little bit, and then we can open it up to if there's any other TV you guys are watching, or if you want to bounce back to MacGyver. I'm totally fine. I just want to make sure those who are here, if they're here for Chicago Fire, we can talk about that too, and then we can always come back to MacGyver or whatever you guys want to come back to. So I'm going to finish reading what you guys posted. If there's anything, last things you want to say, please say them now, and then we can talk about Brett C. I don't know how they will end, but I don't even see Mac and Desi being together too much further into the episode, especially after the events of last night. Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to happen if Desi really starts to see, take a step back and see every time there's an emotional issue, Mac goes to Riley, and I could see that being a reason, to break up with Max. I'm not the person you come home to tell your problems to. That's always been Riley. I think you and I are just meant to be friends. I think that would be the best way to end it, because one, it'll be about Desi will have the ball in her court to do it, because I think she needs to. I really do. I think she has to be the one, or it be amicable. I don't think it should be Mac. And then if she says something in that regard, then Mac can be like, oh, do I really do that with Riley? Do I like her more than that? And start those internal feelings, if that makes sense. That's how I would write it. Definitely Mac has feelings he's afraid to admit even to himself, because of what that could do to their relationship. Yeah. I think that's actually a really great point, because I wonder if Mac it's like I have a thought in my head and I just can't figure out how to like vocalize it. But I'm wondering if that's to the point where Mac is thinking about it being with Riley and that jeopardizing their friendship, but that has never really crossed Mac's mind in regards to Desi. Like I've never seen any hint of like, let's not try to, let's end this, or like let's really talk about this because I'm scared about ruining our friendship. That was never on the table for Mac and Desi. And I think that's an important call out too. Riley was the one who had back and forth help without question, yet we still have had barely any development since then. Yeah, I don't understand. I really don't get it. I'm still holding on to the scene with Mac, Jack, and Riley from the end of 102, where Mac said she's the healthiest relationship with a woman for them. Oh, absolutely. Because again, it goes back to the thing about, a solid foundation, and I just can't beat that. And I will always love Mac Riley no matter what happens with them. I'm losing my patience with Mac Desi. I can't take it much longer. Anyway. Exactly, developed Desi in a subtle but consistent way. That's what I'm saying. I think the writers were like, oh crap, like really understanding we only see Desi in relation to Mac. There's no Desi single-handedly. Like I don't think about her unless it's with Mac, and that's so upsetting. And I think the writers realized that, and they're like, crap, we gotta fix it. But having basically four Desi-centric episodes in a row, now we're sick of her. So I think it's about finding that right balance. At least that's my opinion. I can't end yet. We need at least 3 seasons of MacGyver before I want to see it again. I do have a feeling it's going to be around at least for 1 or 2 more, because it's consistent in ratings. It doesn't get better, but it doesn't get worse, if that makes sense. But you never know. I just wish the writers would just get their butts in here. They're like, okay, maybe next week we get another Mac and Riley scene. I think the neighbors that live across from Mac's house are a couple, and maybe couple talking about a relationship. I want that. I want that to happen so bad. Yeah, you guys, you've got to believe. Like, I'm gonna be checking the fanfic websites and like Tumblr for that, because for anything MacGyver or Brecky related, because these episodes have me in like a dozen. So I need more. It's like they're now just starting to realize their mistakes now, but it's been too much at once. Yeah, I agree. I think the writers were like, oh crap, and they're trying to fix their mistakes to like too much instead of like doing it consistently across season 5. I think that would have been so much better. But all right, let's shift gears to Chicago Fire. So I have a lot of feelings about this because last episode we got the infamous Brecky kiss that we've been waiting very long for, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, the big G, as they say it, Gabby comes back into the conversation, which I do think talking about Gabby is important, because that will always be, honestly, probably the only or biggest roadblock in their relationship in regards to it finally beginning. And so I do think it's important to address it. I will say I'm actually very pleasantly surprised with how the writers handled it, because my biggest fear was that it was going to be Matt was going to say something on the lines of, I'm still in love with or I'm still thinking about Gabby, because like back to his note about him saying, when Brett asked Casey the question, like, if Gabby came back today, what would you go with her? Like, what would you do? Because I don't know. And my theory before 903 came was, is he saying that because he still knows he has some sort of like romantic feeling towards Gabby, which I doubted, or is it because he's honestly not thought about Gabby in a long time, that it's just a dumb guy response to be like, I don't know, I haven't thought about it. Like I think he just honestly didn't think about it. That was my assumption. And we were right, based off the cigar chat with Severide and Casey, where Casey is very clearly in love with Brett. I did not expect the writers to give us all of that, to show how, like, obviously in love with Brett Casey is. I did not expect to see that much, where Casey was like, yeah, I haven't thought about Gabby in months. I haven't, like, talked to her. I've only been thinking about Brett. And I was like, oh my God, we were right. Our theories were right. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yes. So that makes me feel better because now, to me, that means, like, if these guys are endgame, or they're in for the long game, like, these two, like, I think they're doing it, like, the angst is going to hurt. I'm preparing. It's going to be angsty for the rest of the season. But I feel like this is exactly what I would want to happen. So, Brett tried to put a stop to it because she's trying to protect herself. I don't blame her because she's been in a situation where she's been the other person or the one that's not the highest priority, and she's not going to do that to herself again. But it goes to show, like, when Brett went to go talk to Casey, and, there's no regards with Gabby in that conversation, and she put, like, a stop to it. First we see her leave, and Casey was almost crying, and I was like, oh my God, I'm almost in tears. And then you see Brett in the bathroom. I'm like, you can tell that, like, was a sucker punch to her. Like, she was like, it's not what I want, but it's what I have to do. And it comes back again. It's like, with the Brett's conversation with Stella at the bar when she's like, I can find other guys. It's like she's saying it out loud to convince herself. Because deep down she knows she does love Casey. It's obvious. But, so yes, it was super, super angsty, but I think it was, like, the right angst. I was worried they're going to, like, tease us in a way that, like, it was one-sided on Brett's side, and we didn't hear anything about how Casey truly feels. But Casey was very vocal for someone who doesn't tell his feelings to anybody. So I was very, very, very pleasantly surprised, and I'm all for the angst, because this is the angst I'm talking about. Casey's clearly in love with Brett. He's backing off because this dum-dum thinks that's what he wants to do to protect Brett, to back off because that's what she wants. But Brett actually does. I think, in my opinion, Brett needs somebody to fight for her, and I think that's what Casey will do. And if anyone has seen the promo pictures for the next episode, which is, in 2 weeks, it's Casey holding, like, a small card. It looks like a business card. I said, oh, and we know that there's going to be, like, that hot lieutenant on the scene for that episode, like one of the, the scenes where they're saving people. And I was like, oh, I would bet money that the card, so, like, say I'm just going to call him Hot Lieutenant, because that's how I know him. Hot Lieutenant and Brett have, like, a moment on the scene, and they're talking, and, Casey kind of, like, looks in the distance and is jealous because any bidder wants that. I want that. And then maybe Brett had to leave urgently, like, with a victim or, somebody who needs to go to the hospital. And so Hot Lieutenant didn't get a chance to give her his number. And then I just love it, like, Brett's still not back yet. And the lieutenant stops by 51 and sees Casey first and gives him, like, hey, can you give Brett my card, my number on it? Like, because the picture, if you find a picture of Casey looking at the distance with that card, he looks like he's pissed, super jealous. So anyway, it's just it's the angst. If I'm gonna do any angst, this is the angst I'm here for, because they're building something solid. You can tell. So anyway, that's my rant about the episode. Oh, and the fact that Casey was falling off the ladder and Brett, like, staring at him, like, all the parallels I'm going to do for fan videos. I'm already loving it. I'm already planning out my next Breasty video, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, so those are my feelings. I think it's a great direction. I understood the writers are never just going to give us Breasty, because how dare they after almost 3 years, Got to wait longer. But if I had to guess, I think it's going to be like the episode before, or even the season finale of this season is them going to be, like, finally together. So the next season is just about their relationship. That's what I have to say about that. So what are your guys' thoughts on Breasty, or even just Chicago in general? Because a lot with Stella Ride also bothers me. It's like, it's like the one dummy leading the other dummy with that Chicago, or the cigar chat, because, Stella Ride seeing that there's a definitely a feeling that people are thinking that because Stella's a woman and she's young, that she's sleeping her way to the top to be a lieutenant. I think, when Severide went into OFI and had that talk with that older chief and kind of was like, hey, you need to back off, he realized, like, what the implications were. And I think in Severide's mindset, talking to Stella and being like, hey, I've noticed this, and I don't want to be your downfall for this. Like, maybe we should just do a little space out, at the workplace, make sure it's not seen that way. Like a normal person, he just is like, let me just distance myself because I don't know what to do. Like, these guys are dummies. They're so stupid. So stupid. Anyway, okay, let's see. I love your channel. Your editor's the bomb. Oh, thank you. Is it Roshni? Roshni? Thank you. That's so nice. March. I am so ready for the angst because I'm with you. I totally think they're endgame. I think so because I think it's like I'm sure. Like, let's be real. I'm sure the writers plan Dawsey to be endgame. And I will say, like, I liked them when I first started watching the show, and then it just every season it got worse and worse. I was like, okay, never mind. No, I don't. But Monica wants to move on, and she's basically the star of her own show now, and she's directing, and I'm like, if that's what she wants, and she wanted to try something new, yeah, girl power, go for it. Because I love Monica as a person. I don't like Gabby, and I'm allowed to do that. And I don't think like the Dawsey, some of those like toxic Dawsey shippers, they don't understand that. I said I am not saying you can't ship Dawsey. Everyone can ship who they want to ship, but just please let me like ship my ship alone. Anyway, so the point I'm making though is that she left. What did they expect? Casey to die alone? I'm like, no. Like the man has had two great loves in his life. I would say Hallie and Gabby. Why shouldn't he have another one? I don't understand. And I said, if there's anybody that is currently on the show that I would want, that I think is good enough for Casey, and vice versa, who I think is good enough for Brett, it's the two of them. So I feel like it made sense. And then I know Derek, which I have a love-hate relationship for him, he said that the reason he really even considered putting Brett and Casey together is Cara and Jesse's really like chemistry off screen. Like they just have a great like friendship and chemistry, and I was like, I agree. So I think what it is this happens in shows all the time. If an actor leaves, you have to make do. You can't just stop the show, right? So I think I do love Brett Sieg. Do I think they were planned from the beginning? No. I don't think half the stuff of the show it was planned from the beginning. But are they making the most out of what they have? And they found something really great within two characters that we are both attached to. Yeah, and that's fine. So I'm like, my last thing I want to say to those Dawsies, you are allowed to ship your ship. I'm not telling you you're not. I'm not telling you you're wrong. What I'm saying is you've had almost 7 seasons of Dawsies. You rewatch those 7 seasons. If you don't want to watch the show anymore, that's fine. Like, there's enough people to go around. But there's such a large audience base that do ship Brett, and it's not us shipping people that are, it's incest because they both have blonde hair and blue eyes. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Or girl code. I'm so sick of hearing that argument too. I'm like, Gabby left them. She took away, and even Monica in multiple articles have said, oh, Gabby left them. He's going to do whatever the hell he wants. He's like, if I wanted, and I honestly think she said, if I would want Casey's anybody, it would be Brett. Thank you. That's fine. Classically Cool says, talking about these two, you are really making me want to finally start Chicago Fire more than I already have in the last few years. I've just not gotten around to it. To somebody on the outside, I could even tell that they are endgame just from watching your videos of them. They have such a classic build-up. You should really watch it. It starts off really good. It gets kind of like, in regards to Dawsey, it gets really weird around like 4, 5, and 6. Like every episode gets a little more toxic-ish in regards to their relationship. But when I just fell in love with Brett, I think she comes in like season 3, and so Brett is my all-time favorite character. I just love her in Chicago Fire. And I think you should watch it. I really do think you should watch it. It's great. It's a really great show. And then, but if you really only want to watch for Brett, watch on Google some recaps from like seasons 1 through 6, and then start season 7, because then you don't even have to deal with Dawsey really, if that's what you're into. Katrina says, or Katarina, how to say? I'm sorry. Did you see the MacGyver episode? Yeah, we talked about it earlier, but if you're just joining us now, we can definitely talk about it after we're done with Chicago Fire. We can always go back to MacGyver, or if there's honestly any shows you guys are watching that you recommend I watch, please let me know, because I am, I am, stuck in my, I mean, it's a larger, but studio apartment downtown in a pandemic, and I work from home, so I am stuck in this box all the time. So I'm constantly having new shows on all the time, like on my TV. So if there's anything else I should be watching, because I'll tell you in a minute, I'll tell you some of the shows I've been, just starting to watch that I'm really liking. So maybe we can find some similarities there and add more to the list of like our TV talk, like what shows we discuss. Kelly has to talk to her not avoider. Only PD was amazing this week. Oh yeah, we gotta talk about PD too. My gosh, so much happened this week, guys. But yeah, Kelly and Casey are just two dumb like teenage boys. They're acting like that. Just talk to your women, please and thank you. um, oh yeah, for PD. So Upstead, I'm not. If you don't ship them, I'm sorry, but I do. I really did like Linstead. I did. I can ship both. You're allowed to ship both. And when she had to leave, and I completely understand. I did really like Haley Upton's character. I like her development of like when she first started, who she's become, and the way they did the Upstead kiss was amazing. It was great. Um, I was really impressed, and I was actually shocked that it was Haley that kind of opened the gates for like her relationship and or to their relationship and kind of told her feelings first. I did not expect that based off of like when Jay got shot and she was gonna tell him in the hospital, and it kind of looked like, okay, never mind, I'm gonna chicken out. So I just did not expect it, but oh, it was great. I can't wait for the next episode. Severide decision makes me sad for him. I wish he would talk to Stella. Yeah, I think what's gonna happen is like, if I had to guess, Stella and Severide are gonna have like a huge blow up, and they're gonna like a huge fight, and then Stella's basically gonna tell him like, you're being stupid, because he is, and I think that what's gonna happen is he's gonna be like, you're right, and it's gonna be like a proposal. I think they're gonna get engaged by the end of the season. I think this whole thing is gonna stretch out, unfortunately, for a good chunk of the season, and then they're gonna get engaged. I'm putting money on it. I think Monica, like Sophia Bush, left for a very specific reason, but they had more. They have to move on from Casey and Gabby. I love them together, but now it's over. Brett is right. Brett is right about having second thoughts. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm never gonna discount the reason of actor decides to leave a show. I'm sure they have great reasons, but also the show, like, it can't just end if it's super popular because an actor leaves. You have to adapt, and that's what these guys have done. But I absolutely, Brett should have asked the question about Gabby. I think that needed to happen. So I do not, discount what's happening. That's why I'm like, I knew Gabby needs to be brought up. It's important because Matt spent 6 years with the girl. Like, he was married to her. They kind of fostered Louis. They almost adopted him. They almost had a child together. A lot happened. So I'm never going to discount Gabby as part of Matt's life. She was a huge part, and Sylvia was there to watch them develop too. So I think that's why it's extra hard for her to start this relationship, because she feels like she owes something to Gabby. But at the same time, there's 2 points. One, they work, again, like how I was talking about MacGyver, they work in an environment where you never know when your last day is your last day. And it's like, you need to live life to the fullest. If you two truly love each other, like, why not? And also, Gabby is the one that left. I think it'd be different if she was still around, right? But Gabby left them. She left the country. She left them in a really horrible, horrible way. But Gabby did it for her. I'm not discounting what Gabby did. It sucks for Casey and Brett, but Gabby did what Gabby needs to do. And I will never, knock her for that. But, like, I think what's going to happen is Casey's finally going to see Brett, like, with Hot Lieutenant, and realize, like, oh my God, I could lose her. Like, I am not going to stop fighting for her. And Brett's going to see that and realize, like he's not. Cause it was back to Brett's point in the bar with Stella. She's like, he's still in love with his ex-wife. Brett really does think he still loves Gabby, because of course she does, based on Matt's response. But if I had to guess, like, Casey's gonna like blurt out that he's in love with her, and that he will always love Gabby in a way that she was an emotional part of his life. But he's not in love with her. He's in love with Sylvie. I put money on that. Kind of how that conversation goes, because that's how it should go, and them being together. I just downloaded the first episode of season 1, made it start this weekend. Looking at IMDb says she starts season 3. Yeah, I won't say anything why, but there's a reason Brett comes in season 3. She replaces somebody. That's all I'll say. And Brett, you just get to love her. She starts out this naive little kid, like moving from Indiana, and then now she's badass PIC, and she's awesome. Like her character development is one of the best on the show. And I think that's why I love her so much. Yeah, you should. It's my favorite show. Yeah, I'm telling you, I started with Chicago PD actually. That's the first one I saw. Then I started Fire. Then I watched Med actually at the beginning of this pandemic because I had extra time, and my job was eliminated due to COVID, and I had ample time because there was no new job posting. So for those who don't know, I was at home for like 8 months. That's why I was cranking out, edits like no one's business. And so I watched Med like in 2 weeks or something. I liked it. I don't mind watching it. I just don't connect to the characters like I do in P and Fire. I do think it's important. Like if you can, I would still watch it because I'm sure you've seen that they do crossovers very often, or shows within one show will be in another show. It's part of the storyline. So I still watch Med currently just to know like what's going on. I will say I do like some of the stuff that's going on in the show now, like this season. I'm actually really enjoying it this season. So let's see. I always recommend Zoe's playlist, and this week's episode was a great one. Oh yeah, I've heard of that. It's on my list to check out. Because I really do like the main girl. She was an actor in like something suburbia. It was like a one-off show. I used to watch in middle school. I'm blanking on it. But I thought she was so great in that. So I will definitely add that to my list for sure. Listen, you guys, if you watch Chicago Fire, you should. But if you watch PD and that, yeah, I really think you should watch all 3 if you can. I think they're very good people who deserve love. This is tearing her apart, and she loves him. I'm proud of the fact that she didn't avoid him, and she told him exactly what was on her mind. That's what I'm saying. Brett, I think this is such huge development. Spoilers for Brett, but it's such huge development for Brett to put her wants and her needs first, because she's always been someone like, especially with her relationships in the past, she's done whatever the other person wants, and now she's putting herself first, and I think it's amazing to see. Sorry, my phone was ringing. Let's see. I actually shipped Kelly and Aaron. I love them. Jay and Aaron were great as well, but my guilty pleasure was Kelly and Aaron, and now Stella and Kelly, of course, Jay and Haley. I totally get that. It's crazy. I used to this makes me laugh. I used to ship like when Brett first got on the show, Brett and Severide. I was like, oh my god. Now I'm just like, yeah, never mind. But at the time I was like, they'd be cute. Now about other amazing shows. I don't know if you watch This Is Us, but it is so incredible. I haven't seen it actually, which I'm surprised because I'm a sucker for like dramatic shows. I love it. I love it so much. It's one of those things where I'm like, just don't hate me for saying this, but like, is it worth the hype? But I trust you. If you say it is, definitely I'll check it out. Okay, I'm gonna have to start this weekend for sure. I'll make my cousin happy since she's been watching all the Chicago shows for years now and loves Fire the most. That's what I'm saying. You need to. Okay, I enjoyed this week's episode of Med, but I usually am not a big fan of the show. That's how I am too. It's like there's some episodes where I'm like, okay, that was pretty good, and then there's some I'm like, It's just I'm not as connected. I won't say I dislike the show. That's not true. I don't have the same connection with the PD and Fire characters as I do in Med. It was Suburbia. That's what it was called. I never watched it, but I know that's what it was. Yep. So I think I watched that in like middle school. I couldn't tell you one plot about it, one character name about it. No idea. But I remember that's how I first was introduced to her. Fun fact: Jane Levy from Zoe's was also in Monster Trucks with Lucas from MacGyver, and that is a really good movie too, even though it's more geared towards kids with being Nickelodeon. Oh, I did see that. I did see a picture of the two of them on the set of the Monster Trucks, which is a bit funny. I've only seen the first half of This Is Us season 1, but it's so good. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about Chicago Fire, or go back to MacGyver, or should I list kind of the shows that I've recently like binge watched. Let me know what direction you want to go, because I'm always happy to recommend things I'm watching. There's a couple. Actually, I'm gonna grab my phone and look at the shows that I've been watching, but there's a couple of them that I'm like, I gave in to what people were saying online to watch, and yeah, let me know what you guys want to do. I mean, be quiet. I'm just trying to pull something on my phone just in case we do talk about the shows. Okay. What direction do you guys want to go? More MacGyver or Chicago? One Chicago, really. One thing about MacGyver, I was so sad about the episode. Yeah, me too. I laugh because I'm like still not okay. I'm still like, I just laugh at myself because Jack was an emotional, like, is a fictional character, but I'm still so emotional and like attached to him. But like we talked about earlier, it's like I get why they did it. I think it was a great way to reconnect Mac and Riley after what's been going on this season. Not that I want Jack's death to do that, but it was a great way to like finally close that chapter. So, what have your recent binge watches been? Okay, I have a lot, guys. I have a problem where I'm like, I watch a lot of TV. It's bad. I'm sure you guys realize it how much I talk about it. So one that I've seen a lot of my MacGyver people that I follow on Twitter talk about is The Prodigal Son. I'm still like halfway through, so don't spoil if you've watched it, but I'm really liking it. But the part that just makes me giggle, because it's a very serious show about like this guy his dad is a serial killer, and this guy works as a profile. He works with the FBI, now he works with like the NYPD, I believe, and he like has these tendencies where he thinks like, oh my god, I'm gonna be a serial killer. Anyway, that's like a high gist. The part that makes me laugh is I used to watch The Walking Dead a lot. Because Michonne, if you guys know, she was one of my favorite characters ever, like ever, and I love her. And so the main guy just seemed he was Jesus. His name was Jesus in The Walking Dead. He had like this long hair. So when I see the main actor in this, The Prodigal Son, it's really hard for me to like disconnect the two. So that's the one thing it's like how anytime I see Daniel Radcliffe, it will always be Harry Potter. It's kind of like that situation. So I'm still just getting over it, but The Prodigal Son has been really, really good. I still have like half the season left. I know season 2 just started. Another great show I binged and loved last year was Julie and the Phantoms. I'm a sucker for a musical series. That's also on a list. I've heard other people talk about that. You guys should know like my TV list is huge. So, but keep it coming because I binge shows like no one's business. I still feel weird that I never cried over the MacGyver episode, but I think it's because I'm still in denial about Jack being dead. Yeah, when I first watched it live, I didn't cry. I was just more like pissed. I was like, I knew it was coming. I knew it was good. I mean, his name was in the title, and the description was Fallen Friend. We all knew what was going to happen. But then when I watched it this morning, I got teary-eyed, especially in the part at the beginning, at the funeral, and then when Mac lost in the bathroom, I was like, man, Tristan and Lucas killed it this episode. Their emotions were so raw and so amazing. But oof. Right, you killed off Jack, but at least give us more emotional scenes with Mac and Riley. Yeah, I think I'm just like, thank you, Jim, for finally feeding us Mac Riley shippers after like 4 episodes of like zilch. Because like as a shipper or as a bidder, it's been like I can't do anything with this stuff. Like yeah, we had the picnic scene, but I associate that with like anger, being baited. But just so you guys know, there are some. I'm going to be doing a MacGyver episode first, and then or like a Mac Riley episode, or I can talk a Mac Riley fan vid first, and then a Brettsy one second. Because I figured I want to get Mac Riley done first, and then Brettsy, I have a little extra time before the next episode. So, like me seeing Robert Pattinson as Edward Cullen, no matter what. That's what I'm saying. He will never. There's some actors where they're in such roles where I will never like. It's Kristen Stewart again, like it's Bella in Twilight. I can't unsee her as that. I'm trying to think of any other actors, but it's like, anyway, but yeah, so I have that problem. Like, there's some actors in some shows where I'm like, I just can't. Like, I'm sure Lucas Till, like, whenever he's in something else, I will only ever see him as Max. You know what I mean? Girl, I'm with you. Watching too many shows. Story of my life. Like, it's one of those things. Like, life is crazy right now. It's stressful, you know. And I'm a couple months into my new job, which I love, by the way. It's amazing. I have a great job, but I'm working crazy hours and I'm stressed. And the one thing that brings me joy is like shipping, like, or watching TV shows. I don't know. That I've been that a lot of that and a lot of reading. So it's been great. Tristan and Lucas carried this episode for sure. That end scene with Mac from me. They were phenomenal. Like, and I just can't get over how good last night's episode was. I think it feels even more better than it probably actually is, because how crappy. Again, this is my opinion. How crappy these episodes have felt. So I'm just glad. I'm just glad we're in a good spot. Yeah, I had that problem as well. Yes, looking forward to new videos. Oh, thank you. I feel bad because I wanted to edit more. It's just like I said, I'm starting a new job and I'm finally, like, you know, when you start something new, especially because I was out of a job for almost like 8 months. So I'm still in like the same profession that I'm in, but it's like it's kind of like you don't do something for so long and then jumping back into it. It's like, especially with a new company, it's like I'm just getting used to the lay of the land, how things are done, and I'm finally getting to a point. Like, honestly, this week felt, I was like, okay, I kind of know, like, what I'm doing now. Like, I finally feel like I'm in a good spot. I'm like, I kind of know what I'm doing. So now I feel like I'm going to have more energy and more time once I'm done with my work days. Because I work with a company I work remote from home, but they're out of the Mountain Standard Time. So they're an hour before me. So that means my hours are later. So I work until almost 6:30, 7 o'clock my time, just because of that. I've been rewatching Hawaii Five-0 from the beginning to finally catch up on the final seasons that I missed, and it's been so much fun. I've never actually seen Hawaii Five-0. I keep saying that. It's going to be like my catchphrase. It's on my list, too. Like, it's on my list. But I've actually been watching NCIS LA because I love Kenzie and Deeks, and I'm just, like, rewatching that, like, casually, like an episode here or there, like nothing like binge watching it. Can we just go and write the episodes of MacGyver's ourselves? I'm saying, guys, we know the show better than anybody else. Why can't we just do it? But I'm saying that is what fanfics are for. I'm telling you, I need more Mac Riley ones. I do. Breastfeed has been pretty good. There's been a consistency, but like Mac Riley, I'm like, I just need more. I need more. I'm sure. Shoot, gosh, what is wrong with my accent? I'm sorry, Midwestern accent. I am sure we're gonna get a huge slew of Mac Riley fanfics after this last episode. We were finally fed after since 4/12. It's so sad. Yeah, love Hawaii 502. It's such a great show. All right, guys, you're really convincing me. I might need to add it to my list. Yeah, all the friendships on the show are incredible. Yeah. What about One Tree Hill? Have you ever watched it? Oh, absolutely. That was my favorite show in, like, middle school. Like, I even watched because I think I binge watched it until I watched the last 2 seasons of it, like, live, like, while it was airing on TV. But that just aged me. I don't want to talk about it. But I did watch it. I love like Nathan and Haley, and then I'm actually a Brooke and Lucas shipper. Don't at me, but I am. But I don't mind, like, Lucas and Peyton either. But you should watch it. Steve and Daniel are my favorite second romance behind Mac and Jack. Oh, before we go on, I want to add a few, like, classic shows that actually, before that, let me talk about a few other shows that I've been binge watching because I got sidetracked to the original question. I binge watched The Resident, which is excellent. I binge watched The Rookie. You can tell I have a theme, medical or like first responding show. The Rookie was great, and I watched The Transplant. Not a lot of people talk about that. It's another medical drama, but it feels really real. Like, it doesn't feel like dramatized like how The Resident does. So if you want like a really like a gritty medical drama, you should really go for The Transplant. It's so good, and it got really good ratings, and it got picked up for season 2, so we know more is happening. It's only one season, so I finished it in like a weekend. And then oh my gosh. And then I also binge watched The Newsroom, which I think is 3 seasons on HBO, and that was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And then I'm binge watching The West Wing right now, where I have it on in the back, like the background every once in a while. But I really, 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 really like that. And if you guys want to know a little bit, if you guys want to know a little bit about my like personal TV taste, some of my all-time favorite show ever is Parks and Rec. Or Boy Meets World. They're my comfort shows. That's what I'll say. They're my comfort shows. So if I ever feeling down or want to watch something, those are my 2. And then some of my all-time favorite shows, I'm just going to list a bunch of them. Let me know if you guys share any interest in these. Obviously, like MacGyver and the Chicago shows. I love Psych. I love Scrubs. I love that 70s show is another one. Because if you don't know, I'm from Wisconsin, so it's kind of like a nod to that. Like all the ones I always go back to. I think those are the key ones. I always watch those. One Tree Hill was one of the best classic old WB shows before CW switched things up, and Naley is my ship of the whole show. Yeah, I love them. And it was cool because it was the first. This is so stupid. This is one of those the first characters like Haley that was spelt. Well, one, there's not a lot of Haleys in television, not a very common name, and it was spelled the way I spell it because my name is the most simplest way to spell Haley, but nobody ever spells it this way. So I was like, oh my god, it's like me, and so cute. Like it was the the kid in me. Yeah, I've watched season 4 and 6 because I am Leighton, Haley, and Ruby and shippers like so many times that I know all the quotes. It's one of those things that I honestly haven't gone back and watched One Tree Hill in at least 2 to 3 years. So it's one of those shows, that I want to go back and watch. But one thing I also forgot, I really love Dawson's Creek. I love Dawson's Creek. My mom was watching The Transplant, and a little bit I saw was good. Yeah, The Resident is on my list to watch eventually. It's really good. Both Transplant and The Resident are really, really easy watches. I also watched Virgin River, which was really good. It was a little cheesy, but like in the best way possible, if that makes sense. One of those things like I didn't have to think much about it. Do you think they will ever give Desi a girlfriend? I want that. I would love Desi because I think was it Dashboard on Fire who posts on like Tumblr and Twitter about like anything MacGyver related, and they posted that CBS has one of the lowest percentages of inclusivity, meaning like sexual orientation and I think race, than any like cable provider. And then he goes, "It's time to give Desi a girlfriend." And I swear, a bunch of the writers liked it. So I'm like, oh, I hope so. Like I think that'd be great for her. Yes, Boy Meets World is my childhood favorite. I love it. It's one of those things like if I ever just need something to put on, that's what I'll watch. I love it so much. Same here. I feel so horrible about what anyone associated with him. Wait. Oh. I was devastated and so disgusted by the creative show when I heard it. Yeah. Another great classic you should watch if you get good drama is Everwood. It's one of my all-time favorites, and Amy Ephraim are my top OTP. Doesn't that have like, what's his name? I just know him as Andy from Parks and Rec. That's like one of the Chris Pratt. He's in it, right? Oh yeah, because then all of these conversations make me think of I love the OC, which has Chris Pratt in the 4th season, but the OC is great. You guys need that, or Wildfire is great. So many, but I've never seen Everwood. I haven't. Excuse me. I rewatched The Vampire Diaries and I'm angry all over again at how dirty they did Bonnie. Oh, absolutely. And I know I'm the minority in shipping, but I loved Stephen and Caroline, and I really liked Damon and Elena. That was one I've never rewatched it, really. I watched it the one time when it was on, and that was it. Parenthood was amazing as well. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I've watched Parenthood once, like all the way through. That was emotional. Like, if you guys need an emotional show, there you go. I'm still watching Virgin River, but I've been loving it. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I'm not like super invested in the characters, but I really do enjoy watching. I'm a huge fan of Parenthood too. Yeah, it's one of those things like I forgot it existed. Like I watched it all. Like my mom and I binge watched it. Like I'd say 4 years ago or something, and we liked it. But I totally forgot it existed. It's Emily Van Camp, Chris Pratt, and Gregory Peck. That's right. I know Emily Van Camp. She's the one that's in The Resident, and then Chris Pratt. I know he's been a little controversial, but I'm a huge like Marvel fan too, so I do really like him in Star-Lord. Like huge Marvel fan here. Which I haven't watched. I started WandaVision, but I was so tired last night I didn't get to finish it. Bonnie was one of the saddest characters. I can't. They screwed her over and over again. Also, I loved Enzo, but for me, she should have listened to Damon. I think her, yeah, I agree. I always secretly wanted Bonnie and Damon to get together. But at the same time, I'm like, I also understand, like, I really love their friendship. So it's like how Mac Riley's situation. I'm like, I want Mac Riley to happen. Do not get me wrong. But if we get screwed over, I will always value like their friendship. Stephen and Caroline were the cutest. Damon and Elena, yes. My DVD ship was Jeremy and Anna. Oh, Jeremy's story is just sad. It's so sad. Also just started A Million Little Things, or A Million Little Pieces. Is it A Million Little Pieces or A Million Little Things? And it's a heavier show. Because if it's A Million Little Things, I've seen the first season. I haven't watched past that. I was really obsessed with the first season. I'm so bad, because this is the problem, guys. I watch so many shows that I keep forgetting, like, they exist, like the other ones exist. But it's on my list. I think they're on like mid-season 2, or are they on 3? I don't even know how far behind I am, but I really do like A Million Little Things. I'm trying to think if there's any others, but that's what I've been watching lately. WandaVision is really good so far. I'm loving the shift from normal Marvel to having more comedy. Yeah, I really do. Like WandaVision I'm excited for, and what is it? It's Winter Soldier and Falcon. Is that the other one? But the one I'm so excited for is the Loki series. Like if you guys have seen the trailer for it, it looks phenomenal. But yeah, WandaVision, I'm just gonna restart it because I was like half asleep and like very emotional or like feeling a lot of things after last night's episode. So I'm gonna do that this afternoon, just rewatch it. But I think I made it like 15-20 minutes into the first episode of WandaVision, and I really do like it. My dad is he's the big Star Wars fan, which I do like Star Wars. I grew up with it. You know, he loves Star Wars. Marvel was my thing, and he goes, I won't spoil it for you, but like it's weird. Okay, he's just the classic dad, you know, that is like, well, it's out of what I expected. I'm like, well, I like that. I like things that are different, so I'm sure I'm gonna like WandaVision. But I'm really excited to watch it this afternoon. Hard for me, it was always Delana. I do enjoy them together. I only love the two of you. That's fine. Don't apologize. Everyone has their own shit. Yeah, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier I'm looking forward to the most. Yeah, I just think, like, I can't, when they announce, like, all the stuff Marvel coming, like, Disney Plus and all the Star Wars stuff, it's like, geez, Disney is truly monopolizing, like, the industry, aren't they? It's crazy, but I'm going to eat it all up because I'm a huge Marvel fan. I have been for a long, long, long time, and it's been a while since, you know, obviously going to a movie theater, but that was one of my favorite things was going to see a new Marvel film in theaters. So the fact that we're finally getting new Marvel content is great. And I know it's technically Sony/Marvel, but I love Spider-Man. Like, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is great. It's a favorite. Marvel is my go-to comfort franchise, honestly. It is. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they have all of the Marvel movies now on Disney Plus? Because because if they do, that's my plan. As we get farther in the like Midwest winters are no joke here. So when it gets crazy cold, I really can never leave my house. I'm going to I want to watch all the Marvel films in not cinematic release, but like there's a specific order that they want you to watch them in. So I kind of want to do that, which I think would be fun. Thoughts on SWAT? I've never seen SWAT actually. Yeah, I've never seen it. Um, just the little bit of banter we got with Sam and Bucky, I already loved. I can't wait to see them interact tomorrow. Oh yeah, I love Bucky and Sam. They're just yeah. I'm glad there's going to be more expansion, and I don't know. I saw an article posted. I don't know if it has any um, merit to it, but that Chris Evans, Captain America, was somehow going to come back to the cinematic universe. I'm like, well, how? I could see it like maybe in like flashback or a show based around with him and Peggy. That'd be kind of cool. I'm both DC and Marvel fan, but I think DC can't have like great movies as Marvel. For my only Wonder Woman was great. Yeah, no, I feel the same with DC. I think it's more I just like the feel of Marvel movies. I'm not saying DC movies aren't great. They're just not my cup of tea. And I will get a little trigger warning for domestic violence for just a minute. I'm about to say something. I have a hard time supporting anything DC that has anything to do with Amber Heard because I have friends who have suffered from domestic violence, and I've been following the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, and it's very clear that she is very physically and emotionally abusive. So if you're ever interested in that case, I highly recommend reading it. She is just a horrible human being, and I just am so anything associated with her, like Aquaman or Justice League, I will never ever watch. But yeah, so it's not fair to everyone else in the DC, but it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Okay, end of rant. Yes, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, and Tom's my favorite, even though I grew up with the Tobey version. Yeah, so did I. I grew up with the Tobey version too. But I just really like Iron Man is probably my all-time favorite Marvel character ever. And so I loved when they had him, Tony with, Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I just thought it was so perfect. And Tony's death, I will never get over it. I will never be okay. That's one of the saddest franchise moments ever for me. If they're all on Disney Plus, with the exception of Spider-Man and the original Hulk. Okay, and Spider-Man, that's fine. I figure because it's a Sony owns it, just produced by Disney. And the good news is I own those on DVD, so that's good. Okay, then I might actually do that because I think that'd be really fun. DC does the best TV shows, and Marvel nails the movies, in my opinion. Yeah, I haven't watched any DC shows, so I can't speak to that part, but yeah, Marvel movies are beautiful. I'm hearing about the case too, and I can't handle how the whole story is gone. Oh yeah, sorry, I won't bring it up any much more longer, but I'm just saying, don't read what you believe in the media. It's been proven she's paid PR teams to promote, to make her look good and promote actual lies. If you want any proof, they have I'll have to try to find it if you ever need it. They list all of the court documents that show all of the evidence that she did against him online, as well as Adam Waldman on Twitter is Johnny's lawyer, and he just releases facts about what's going on. And it's sickening. It's so, that poor, I just hope Johnny gets justice. That's all I'll say. The Tony and Peter storyline was just the best, and I know I cried in the theater I bawled. It was embarrassing how much I was crying in the theater when Tony died. And then, Peter being there while he was dying, and it was like, oh God. I've actually got the list in release order on my phone if you want me to send it to you on Twitter, depending on how you want to watch through. Do you have release order or the recommended watch order? Because there's one where it's like in order of release of the movies, and then there's an order where it's an order of the events happening. So because technically Captain America would be first because it's early, and then Spider-Man. So just let me know. Exactly. Although Peggy Carter was amazing and you're robbed. Oh yeah, I heard about that. I haven't seen it. I used to watch Agents of Shield back in the day, but I haven't recently. Or I haven't watched like the last couple seasons, but I just didn't get too attached to it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm watching. If you guys want to know, the actual release of movies, the time I order is how it's okay, got it. I'm trying to think. If you guys ever want to know, I'm a sucker for anything in regards to movies. My genre is like 80s and 90s movies. I'm really weird, stuck in like the past. I'm a sucker. Like my all-time favorite, and I'm sure nobody's heard of it. It's a John Cusack movie, and it's called Better Off Dead, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And then I really love things like The Princess Bride. I'm a sucker for a great rom-com from the 90s, or so Sleepless in Seattle or You Got Mail, things like that. I'm weird with movies. Like TV shows, I'm pretty current, like what's going on. But movies, I'm always about like the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s. Like another one I love. It's one of those movies that's so bad that it's so good. Is like Legally Blonde. I watch that movie at least once every couple months, and I quote it like I more than I should. So, in regards to movies, I'm weird. I only got to season 2 of AOS. Yeah, I lost interest, sadly. You should also watch Dickinson and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Oh yeah, I've never seen Dickinson, but I've watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. That is excellent writing. Like that is really really good. That and Fleabag. Those are really 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 good Amazon shows. If you guys need anything. Speaking of Amazon shows, have you guys ever watched Upload? It only has one season on Amazon. It's so good. It's so good, and not a lot of people have seen it. Princess Bride is the best, and Legally Blonde is amazing. I love it, and the fact that we're getting a Legally Blonde 3 in a year or two makes me so happy. Like some movies I'm like, well, leave it alone. Like, don't make more. I'm like, no, make more. I want more Legally Blonde. Please and thank you. I want to know where Elwood is today. In Princess Bride, it will always be. I grew up with it, so it'll always be one of my favorites. Yes, Dickinson is really good. I still need to watch a episode. Upload, yes. Robbie Amell. Yay, somebody else has watched it. Upload is a really, really great show where it's like there's no like heaven or hell. It's all like once you die, you are either like dead, or you can upload your basically like spirit into like a different place. You can live forever. And then it's all about like, are you rich? Can you afford this really nice upload area, or are you in like a stuck in kind of like a purgatory, like awkward phase? I don't know. It sounds morbid, but it's a comedy and it's really good. It's really really good. So if you guys have not watched Upload, it's an easy watch. Like you will finish it in a day or two, I promise. I think there's only like 13 episodes. It's picked up for season 2, so it's only one season. So it's one of those things like if you need an easy binge watch of something you've never seen, that's a great suggestion. It was really, really, really funny. Actually, oh my gosh. So I can't forget. Let me find what her character's name is. One of the actresses in the show actually is a reoccurring character on Chicago Fire. I have to find what her name is. That drives me crazy. Or like what her Chicago Fire character is. Let's see. So yeah, the actress's name is Andy Alo, and she plays. My phone is like slow. She plays Lieutenant Seeger. That's right. She's the girl the lieutenant at OFI that works with Kelly. And so it's really like, and now I'm like, because I didn't like her, it's like, girl, you're stepping in someone else's relationship. But then this is one of the cases where it was really nice that I really liked her in Upload, so I didn't see her like crossover. about money? Like when you say it's about money, do you mean like making another Legally Blonde? I'm like, yep, I don't care. I want it. I want it to happen. Seeing where Elle was and now would be really interesting. I just want to know, like, what kind of lawyer did she end up being? Like, what did she do? I could see her owning some, like, law, like, ritzy law firm that does, like, pro bono cases and stuff. Oh, another one is another great show. I'm so all over the place. But another show is Suits. That's a great one. If you guys want a slow burn, good night. Like, Donna and Harvey, what, took 9 seasons or something ridiculous. So if you guys want to be tortured, there you go. That's a good one. Yeah, she wanted Kelly. Yeah, I was like, girl, back up. Back up. Oh, gosh. But it's like with Stella, she's like, well, I got mad at, Severide for being jealous of, my friend. I can't be jealous of her. I'm like, no, you can. Yeah. No, sorry, the comment was for upload. Oh, yeah. So it's all based on, like, how much you can pay for it. 'Cause, like, spoiler for upload. He has this girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, really, that's paying for, she's rich, and she's paying for, like, him to be in the really nice upload area, and it's just a lot of awkwardness, I'll just say that. Did you see the trailer for To All the Boys? And oh yes, To All the Boys franchise is one of my favorite. Yeah, I love the books. I read them first, and then I found out they're gonna do a series. And the one that's coming out, I know it's like an unpopular opinion, but the one that's coming out now is my favorite book, so I'm very excited for this one. Just because I feel like it has more of an adult. I mean, it's still a rom-com, but it has more of an adult feel to it. So I'm very excited. It's one of those like cliche Netflix rom-coms that I do actually really enjoy, because some of them I'm just like, no, I have to draw a line somewhere. But these ones are really good. Yeah, I'm excited. If there's anything else. Let's see. Anything else you guys are watching that you want to talk about? I think I'm still reeling or dealing with my emotions with MacGyver and Chicago Fire this week. So today's gonna be a relaxing day because I do have off on Monday, which is a 3-day weekend. Um, so I plan on just spending the day relaxing, um, reading some fanfics, and then tonight I want to start editing. So do you guys know the song "With or Without You" by U2? That's the song I want to do Mac Riley to. It's gonna take me a while. I'm hoping, like, because I have 3 days to do it, I can do it. But the song is like 5 minutes, so you guys might be having like a 5-minute Mac Riley video coming out soon. But um, the books are some of my favorites too, and the last book is one of my favorites too. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I love the first. The trilogy is great, but for me, I always liked the third book more. I also love Jenny Han other series. In summer, I turned pretty and want to see it adapted. Oh, I've never read that one. I'm weird with like, oh my gosh, I forgot. Has anyone watched Bridgerton? I haven't even talked about that. But I how do I say? Oh, I'm a sucker for when it comes to books. I do love like a rom com book, like kind of like the genre of To All the Boys I Loved Before. But I also love anything set in like a different time period, and that's what made me think of Bridgerton because um, I did like Bridgerton because it was like a Shonda Rhimes drama set in one of the time periods I love. Um, One of the time periods I love the most. Oh my gosh, yes, I love that song. It was perfect with Mac Riley. That's what I thought. I saw a fan video for Josh and Donna from The West Wing with that song, and I became obsessed with it. And now I'm like, okay, I really want to use it with Mac Riley. So that's my goal. I watched Little Women again, the new movie. I love that movie. Florence Pugh is one of my favorite actresses of all time. She's amazing, and that Little Women and the 90s version just because I have a nostalgic connection to it. Will always be my favorites, but I really do like how Greta Gerwig did this Little Women, where the the present is in like the cool tones, like it's colder, versus like the fond memories are all in warm tones. And I think it was just different because I'm sure you guys know there's been so many adaptations of Little Women, so I'm glad that she made it her own. I know some people didn't like that, but I loved it. The Gossip Girl of the past, but with Julie Andrews. The Julie Andrews narration was like chef kiss. It was perfect. It was one of the things that like tied it all together, and it was amazing. And speaking of Julie Andrews, didn't they for the longest time? Didn't they say they still want to do like a Princess Bride 3, or did I like make that up or dream that in my head? Because if that's true, I'm also very interested to see where she is in Genovia, like what's the situation going on there, and if they bring like Chris Pine back, I want that so bad. It's one of those things like I love those. I'm a sucker for like movies from my childhood. Like I'm a sucker for nostalgia, and so like I think of like Princess or oh my gosh, not Princess Bride. Is that what I said? What's the movie? Oh my God, what is the princess movie? I probably already said it. And there's something wrong with my brain. What's happening? Oh my God, I have to Google it. I can't even think what it's called. But any movies from like my childhood, like What a Girl Wants, that's with Amanda Bynes, or well, like any of the Mary Kate and Ashley movies, that was my jam. I loved it. They sell like a pack that comes with like a bunch of them, and I got it off Amazon for like $15, and it was the best $15 I've ever spent. Um, and Saoirse Ronan, she's such a good actress. I love her. She's so good. Joe and Laurie will forever be my ship in my childhood that I will never get over reading or their ending. That's what I'm saying. I love Joe and Laurie. Princess Diaries, thank you. Oh my God, I think I'm having a stroke. I think I'm having a stroke. But Joe and Laurie will always be my favorite. I think because I read the books first. I read Little Women before I saw any of the movies as a kid, and I always connected because when I was a bratty kid. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't spoiled, but I was dramatic. I was dramatic. And so I connected with Amy, like in her development. And so I always shipped Joe and Laurie versus, um, you know, Joe and Laurie. Or I always shipped, you said Joe and Laurie. Oh no, I meant Amy and Laurie. I read that wrong. I'm an Amy and Laurie shipper because I always connected with Amy when I was reading the book. So that's the only reason. I think that's the reason I like Joe and Laurie. Not Joe and Laurie. I keep saying Joe and Laurie. Amy and Laurie. But I always thought, in my opinion, with Joe and Laurie being like a friendship soulmate, meaning like they are supposed to be together forever, but not in a romantical sense. Because I think Amy challenges him in a way that Joe doesn't. If that makes sense. Never mind. I think I'm having a stroke. I'm not okay. I don't know what's happening. You were literally listing all of my favorite childhood teen movies. Oh, I love that. Oh, have you guys watched the original 10 Things I Hate About You? That will always be one of my favorites that I go back to quite frequently. My best friend tried to get me to watch the first one where they were like when we were like 16 and I fell asleep, so I totally wrote it off, but I fell in love with it last year after watching the new one. Oh yeah, the one are you talking about the first one when they were 16? What are you talking about for that? Sorry, I'm not sure. That's all right. I know you're an Amy Laurie shipper. That's cool too. Oh yeah, I see. The thing is, like, I understand why people ship Joe with Laurie because their connection is so strong. So I completely understand. I'm just seeing it from a different view, and I think it's because when I read the books, I just connected with Amy. So I saw things from Amy's point of view, if that makes sense. But yeah, I totally get why people ship Joe and Laurie for sure. I love Joe and Laurie, but I believe they wouldn't be a good fit and in this movie we can see more of Amy's character and understand her more. That's my biggest complaint about the '94 versions, or like the older ones. You don't get to see Amy's side, and I think that's one thing that like Greta did so well, is you got to see things from Amy's side, how she's always put in Joe's, sidelines, and she's always put second to Joe, and you didn't get to see that, or you didn't get to see Amy and Lori's like build up in the past. So I felt like the one, the '94, the one with Ethan Hawke, it almost felt kind of weird. Christian Bale. I get them confused. The Christian Bale version, you didn't get to see Amy and Laurie like build that relationship, so it did feel a little more forced. So in that version, I shipped Joe and Laurie more. But in this current one, they finally gave like Amy a proper voice, so it made me like finally ship Amy and Laurie. Oh, the first movie, Little Women. Gotcha. I just want to make sure I was understanding. That makes sense. I've always connected to Joe, so I think that's why I love him so much. Yeah, I think it all honestly comes down to like who you connect with more, because I think like between Joe, Amy, and Beth, that they're three completely different type of people. Oh man, what's the other? Guys, I'm bad with names. And then I just think Emma Watson's one, whatever her name is. I'm forgetting. But there's four different women, and they all have different personalities. So as you read the story, you connect with them, and then you kind of follow them through their journey. And I think that always, and then that kind of leads to like who you end up shipping. I love that Greta gave Amy a proper voice. Florence has a bright future ahead of her. Yeah, Florence Pugh is phenomenal. I can't wait to see her in the Black Widow movie too. And I love that she's dating Zach Braff, which is the actor from Scrubs, because Scrubs is one of my favorite, and he's like one of the funniest people in history. So great. But you also connect with Joe, then Amy for sure. Yeah, it all just depends on like who you connect with. The scene where she says, "You're being mean." Oh, my heart rips. Rips. Meg Brama's character. Thank you. You guys, I think there's something wrong. I think it's like I'm so caught up in like I have so many thoughts. Like at one time I'm trying to like process it, and I forget like the important details, like names of the characters or the shows that I should know. And I do know deep down in my brain somewhere. But here we are. I don't know what's going on. Is Florence gonna be amazing in Black Widow? Yeah, I think she's gonna be a huge actress. Like she reminds me a lot of what I would guess. Kate Winslet. Is that right? The girl from Titanic? That's Kate Winslet, right? To me, I think like she's gonna have a trajectory like that, where like she's just gonna keep getting better and better and better, and she's gonna blow up. And I'm sure she'll win an Oscar someday. She's already nominated, wasn't she, for Little Women? Yeah, she's phenomenal. I really like her. Do I have any other movies from like my childhood that I have way too much of a association with or a love for that I shouldn't? I am a sucker for like collecting movies, meaning like when I go to Goodwill, my mom and we go like once every couple of weeks. I'm a big the reason I go is my record collection. I collect records, and so we go for that. And I always check out the movie section. And if there's anything I find that's from like the 80s and 90s, I always pick it up, and then I watch it. And if I like it, I keep it. If I don't, then I just re-donate it. It's kind of like a cycle. And so I'm obsessed with movies and TV. You guys know movies and TV. And so I've got so many. Like any movie you can think of from that time, in regards to like romantic dramas or comedies, I probably own it. Like Wayne's World is one of my favorite movies. Like any like early Adam Sandler, like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, or even just Go With It with him and Jennifer Aniston is really good. I have a weird taste in movies. I'm sorry. I'll also get off that. Yeah, Kate Winslet. Yes, sure. Saoirse and Florence were nominated. Yeah, they're both phenomenal. I rewatched Twilight, and oh my god, it was a blast. Twilight, I was a fan of the book. The movie, I liked the first movie, and then I didn't really care for the rest of them. But I was definitely like, I ate those books up. Like I remember one day, I want to say it was me about, like the book. I got the day it came out, and I read it in one sitting. And you guys know how big, if you've read the book, how big that book is. Yep, I literally just in one sitting. Yeah. Oops. Oh yeah, Florence is hilarious. Watch her on Insta. Yeah, I love her on Insta. I love her cooking videos. Makes me want to cook. And also Kate Winslet and Saoirse Ronan are have a movie together. That's right. I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen Little Secrets with Evan Rachel Wood? It's a really good, underrated movie. I haven't actually. Little Secrets. What's it about? Like, what's the genre or what's the takeaway? 15-year-old me was living for it, and now I watch it, and I'm like, no, both people are toxic. Yeah, like, when you think about it, it's like, those are not healthy relationships, no matter which way you spin it. And I know it's like, it's a sci-fi, like, vampire werewolf show or movie, so it's not going to have, the most, like, compelling and story, but, oh man. I remember reading all the Twilight books in 4 weeks. The first 3 took me 2-3 days each, and the last one probably took longer to read. I just think, have you guys ever watched Parks and Rec? Again, it's probably my all-time favorite show. I can quote it. I've watched it so many times through. There's a part where there's a time capsule for Pawnee, Indiana, like the town that they're running, and they want to put, like, they hold a town meeting, and the people of Pawnee are known to be crazy, and there's this guy that wants to put the Twilight books in the capsule, and Leslie, the main character, was like, no, like, let's try to keep it things, like, that are significant to the town. And the guy's, well, it is significant to the town, like, it's important to me. I think it's something he said it was, like, it's something that means a lot to my daughter, and I wanted to blah, blah, blah. And it was all a lie, and he just loves the Twilight books. But the guy handcuffs himself into Leslie's office to protest to get him to get them into the time capsule, and then Tom and Donna, the office, all get obsessed because they're like, I've never read them, and they all get obsessed and talk about Twilight for the whole episode, and it just makes me laugh just thinking about it. It's so good. The books were way better, but I have the biggest celebrity crush on Kellen Lutz, who plays Emmett. I actually watched what is the FBI Most Wanted. He's in it, so if you need something with him, it's really good. That's a really good show. Both the FBI shows are good. She's adopted and a musical prodigy. Oh no, I've never heard of it. I'll definitely check it out. It's also got her keeping all the kids in the neighborhood secrets. Oh man, Divergent was amazing, but we didn't get the last movie. The books were amazing. Yeah, I read the first book and I liked the first movie, and that's all I've seen. I haven't seen anything else. The thing with me is, like, if I'm not super invested, I'm gonna just drop it. Because the reason I say that is, it's not because I don't believe in it or whatever. You guys have seen how much I keep on my list of show and movies. It's like, if I don't like something, I'm gonna move on to the next one. It's your own little business. She runs to make money. Got it. Divergent. I'm still happy we never got a final movie because I don't want to see one major scene happen. I about threw my book when I first read it. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. Wow. We've been talking for almost 2 hours again. That's crazy. But I know MacGyver, Chicago Fire, a lot happened this week, and I'm sure next week I'm hoping we get finally more Mac Riley and the trio happening with them being quarantined inside. I know we're getting like a Mac musical number, which I need to see. But we'll definitely do this again next week. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, we can definitely keep talking. I'm not going anywhere if you don't want to, but I just don't know what else we can talk about. And I'll definitely try to figure out the stupid, I don't know why my microphone is not working. I don't know if it sounds good like it did last week because I can't hear myself, so I have no clue. I don't know why the settings didn't work. I followed all the tutorials. I did testing for it, and it all worked fine until, of course, right when I start my stream, and then it goes kaput. I do appreciate you guys being forgiving, even if I sound really bad with my microphone. I really can't hear. um, because I can't hear what I sound like on your end. But yeah, because it's like I have a nicer microphone and it works really well in the Watch Me Edit stream, so I just can't figure out like what I'm doing wrong. So I'm sorry. And I really appreciate you guys being patient with me, and because I still want it to be, even if it looks like a little misshapen, like last minute, because I just threw this up on the screen. It's not how I wanted to do it, but trust me, I will, over the next week, I'll start looking into it and testing and trying things. I don't know what's happening. So I apologize if my microphone sounds weird. I can't figure out why. It's the same microphone I used last week. The settings were the same, so I just can't figure it out. So I do want to apologize if that caused any inconvenience to you guys, but it's just lower than before. Isn't that bad? It's still not great, because I feel like my audio, hold on, let me try something. Let me know if that changed anything. I'm just trying to do something on my microphone, but yeah, I don't know why, because it's the same microphone that I used last time. Same settings, so I just gotta play around with it. But I appreciate you guys being patient and dealing with it, because I think this week we still had to meet. We had a lot to talk about. Yeah, and there's a lot to cover. That's why these last so long. Yeah, and I said I'm fine. That's why I did it on Saturday mornings, because for me, with the time changes with everybody, and I know a lot of you guys do work on Saturdays, but I figured it was the easy, the best time we could meet, discuss everything TV. I know, that's what I'm saying. I can't figure it out because it's the same microphone. Nothing has changed. So I just have to look into it. So I appreciate you guys putting up with it. I really can't figure out what's going on. So I will mess around with it and try to figure it out. So for next week, I'm hoping we should be good to go. But I appreciate you guys being patient with this. I really can't figure out. So if anyone's good at streaming, please let me know. Because help. Because I didn't find the with the editing stream. Obviously I had some turmoil. I started a little later. It had one hiccup, but I fixed it and I played it back and it sounded fine. So I can't figure it out. Well, I just can't figure out why. I am from Greece and oh my gosh, girl, thanks for hanging out. Back to fire. Gianna encouraging Sylvia to smash the drone and then recording with Gallo. I love Mackie. I think she was such a good addition, and I like the relationship between her and Sylvie. Excuse me. Where Sylvie's more of a mentor to her, which I do really like. And that scene, seeing Brett really destroy that drone, I thought was awesome. Get those frustrations out, girl, because like Gianna said, people pay really good money to do that, so I loved it, and I think it's hilarious that Gianna's been there for a couple weeks at this point, and she already sees what's going on with you and Casey? Is that your boyfriend? So if someone who's been around for 2 seconds could see that, it's pretty obvious. You're very welcome. You're great company. Oh, you guys, this is so fun. I hope I can look to improve the process and we can keep doing it because it's really fun to talk through the shows we love and talk about what happened and digest it versus just talking on Twitter or YouTube or however we do it. So I do appreciate you guys being patient with me, and I'm sorry that the audio sounds like this. Your guess is as good as mine. So I will definitely do my research this week. Maybe I'll do a quick test stream in the middle of the week or something when I fix the settings. So look out for an impromptu stream, maybe Monday, if people are available. And I can try to, so I can spend today and tomorrow just messing around with the settings and trying to figure it out. and then we can try again to see if I fixed it or not. I don't know. But I do appreciate you guys so much for coming and talking about the shows that we love so much. And it's really been great for me to get to know like what you guys like to watch, and um, I really do enjoy it. And I promise, I'm going to try very, very, very hard to get at least a Mac Riley video out by Monday, and then a Brentsy video out by maybe next weekend. That's my plan. But life happens, so if something happens, like, don't see me. So that's my plan. So I'm gonna go chill for a little bit today, and then tonight start the Mac Riley video. So I think Gianna is a mix of Stella and the girl before Gianna, and Stella and Foster. I agree. Those kind of characters are my favorite. I love when they call our relationship like that. That's what we need to have for Mac Riley. Don't even get me started with Mac Riley. Uh-oh. Thanks for doing this again. It's always so much fun. Yeah, I had such a great time doing it. I like how it started off as a watch me edit and ask me questions, and then it turned into let's analyze every show we've ever watched. And I really enjoyed talking to you guys in real time and talking through my feelings, because I have a lot of them. And my ultimate goal is, once I've done this for a little while and I kind of get the hang of it, I would love to do a podcast if you guys are interested, because then I would love to have one of you guys on at a time, every week, to talk about things, because I don't want it to just be me talking to myself, even though it's kind of what I'm doing here, but at least I'm, responding to what you guys are saying. So I would love to look into creating a podcast to talk about TV, and maybe having one of you guys on every week to talk about it, because I think, that's the beauty of this. It's the reason I chose to do YouTube live streams over a podcast first, because I like the element of hearing what you guys have to say, if that makes sense. So let me know if you guys are interested in down the road of me doing a podcast. But the best kind of plot twist with this stream. Woo! Funnily enough, a lot of the people notice too, Julie, Olivia Foster, that their chemistry is so good and so obvious. That's what I'm saying. It was obvious to everybody else before these two dum-dums realized it. I say that in the most respectful and caring way, but sometimes I want to smack them. They drive me crazy. Finally, a person I can analyze shows with and movies. My friends just don't watch TV shows at all. Oh, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to overanalyze, because that's what I do best. I deal with numbers and products and people all day in my work life. So here it's you'd think I'd be relaxed about TV shows. Nope, I overanalyze everything in my life. So no shocker there. That would definitely be something I'd be interested in if you make a podcast. Yeah, because I have a mic, but it was one of those things where it was a $50 mic, so it's not the best, but the quality was good if I could get the settings right. So if I do this enough and just get the hang of it, and I continue to do it, I would definitely be interested in doing a podcast. So I'm glad you guys would be interested too. I think that'd be fun. I think having you guys on too, so we can honestly just talk about all stuff TV, because you can tell I'm very passionate about it. Probably more passionate than I would like. So, all right. Well, I just want to say I'll probably wrap it up. It's been 2 hours, and I don't want to take up more of your guys' time. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by and putting up for my really weird technical difficulties and my mic sounding like I'm underwater and echoing. I don't know, or that I'm in a speaker. Your guess is as good as mine as to why that's happening. I really have no idea. But I do appreciate you guys being here. This is really fun. I really enjoy doing this. So, again, thank you for being patient. I will look into why this is happening, why I can't just stream. And then if anyone is available, tomorrow or Monday, midday, let me know, because I might do a mini stream just to test the settings to see if I fixed it. So if anyone's available, just message me on Twitter or something. I feel the overanalyzing everything in life. Oh, that's me. Have a good day. Yeah, bye guys. Thank you so much. You guys are great. This was really fun. I hope to do it again. Bye friends.